You believe in ghosts?
Do I believe in ghosts?
Do you think this apartment's haunted?
Oh, fuck me. It's funny because so one of the things I've been dealing with, not really dealing with, but I guess just part of the corona fallout is a lot of people left. Like I was talking to a lot of residents at the building I work at, and half of the residents that moved in, they went out to Long Island, they went to out of state, just kind of went to more rural spots to get distance. One of those people that did that as well is my roommate. So I've pretty much been alone in my apartment. And one thing that I haven't really thought about is ghosts at all.
Mm-hmm.
But another side note is I'm pretty sure the reason my roommate got this apartment is because the old guy that lived here before us had died. And more than likely in the room that I live in.
Natural causes?
Presumably, yeah. I'm assuming he was super old and he passed away. I don't know officially.
So have you ever heard anything in your room?
I've never heard anything, but
Have your pop boxes moved?
What the fuck's a Simpson pop? Hear it fall on the ground. I've heard stuff, but it's one of those things where you hear something and it's more like, was that like a bleed in from a dream to you waking up,
Mm-hmm.
or was it something that you actually heard? So
Okay.
it's never been definitively put, but also me saying that is me not entertaining it to let it come into my house. I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious, as Michael Scott would say from The Office. Now, we've talked about ghosts, but by all means, I believe you believe in
them.
ghosts.
Yeah, I believe in them.
Which I didn't actually answer the question. I would say I do believe in ghosts.
Mm-hmm. But nothing's happened in this apartment as far as you
Nothing has happened in the apartment. I've never seen anything physically. I would say on a spiritual level, if this makes any fucking sense,
Yeah.
I felt things to determine that.
Well, that just could be the dirt from your roommate.
Well, I didn't mean inside the apartment, but agreed. It's like, it's a ghost. No, it's just a pile of fucking scum that my roommate left behind.
It's the cigarette butts that were burned. So I definitely believe in them. This morning, a little backstory. So last year, a family friend of ours, she lost her son.
Right.
He was struck by a car.
Yeah, I remember you telling me the story. It's
super
fucking tragic.
Super fucking tragic.
Super tragic.
And so obviously you would know that it's been very difficult on the family. And so with grieving, with bereavement and what have you, and all that.
Yeah.
You tend to think that every sign, every picture you may take, these little things in your house, you think they're signs of something,
Which you just reminded me of one thing that is a possible ghost reference in my apartment, which I'll get to after you tell the story.
Okay, cool. And so, the mom, obviously I'm not going to say her name, but the mom would text my mom or have text my mom to then ask me what I thought, because I'm skeptical sometimes when it comes to orbs, as they call them, which I just think are just dust and what have you. But anyway, today though, I got goosebumps because my mom shows me a screenshot from the mother, and it's a ring. When you get notifications on your phone, it'll say someone's home or someone walked past your thing. So she has all her family on the account. So it'll say like husband's name, for the sake of privacy. Let's just call him George. It'll say George just walked in the house, front door, right? Okay.
Well, this is already getting creepy.
So my mom shows me the phone and says, "Look," and there it goes. It says 3 hours ago, the kid that passed away just got home.
No, that's fucking creepy.
And his cell phone has been in the possession of the parents off since he passed away.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm assuming it's hidden somewhere in his room.
So
in their room or whatever, tucked away.
For the sake of my understanding,
Yeah.
the Ring app is synced to his phone and all the phones in the house, which is how you know who comes in and who comes out.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
So their numbers are connected to the account.
Gotcha.
And you put their name in and what have you, and it said he was home.
Oh man, that's fucking creepy.
That's fucking creepy.
Yeah.
I get goosebumps now. So, it's one of those things where it's like, that makes me believe.
Okay.
As opposed to, the shit you see on Travel Channel, Ghost Hunters.
That kind of goes back to what I said before. It's like I've never seen anything, but something happening, like something, not seeing a physical embodiment of a ghost or a spiritual figure, not seeing that is like whatever, but seeing something move or seeing something that's triggered from something else, that makes me feel more like skeeved out
Mm-hmm.
and more realizing of what is actually there and no, it's not there.
Do you remember when I got that camera many years
Oh,
ago,
yeah.
and we
I think I
filmed
know what you're
something
talking
in
about,
your
yeah.
in your mom's house?
That might have been. Is that the first film we? That's the first film we did.
That was
Because that was before we did Traffic Dead. That was when we were still both working at CV Shit.
yes. Fuck
And,
you, CVS.
CVS, you could suck a big fat dick.
Episode 2, we will probably go ham on retail, but
Oh yeah.
but as of right now, both of us will agree 100% that CVS can go suck the biggest dick it possibly can, and we both hope that it breaks their trachea. But
Agreed.
here's the thing.
Agreed.
Got a camera many years ago. We're talking like 2009.
Yeah, we were. I think it was one of those things. We were both working at CVS, and we both established that we had an interest in film.
Yep.
You had gotten the new camera.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, well,
Let's film something.
You want to do something with it? Let's do it. We narrowed down a day.
Yep.
We figured out what we went into it blindly too. I do remember.
Yes.
Because we went up. I remember we had the upstairs in my mom's place. It was vacant at the time.
Yeah.
So we had the room. We had the space. It was just getting an idea into fruition.
And
Which, by the way, I'm not gonna lie, that still is one of my favorite films that we did.
do you remember the name of it?
Card Game Under the Bridge.
That's right.
Yep.
Car Game on the Bridge.
Yep.
God damn, that was so long ago. And
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and that was mostly a camera test.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because I just got the camera, I was too nervous to use it, and
Uh-huh.
I would take it out for a few minutes, and every new things that are expensive, you take it out.
Well, that's
You
like
play with
just
it.
like this podcast equipment. It's going back into
going
a
back in
box.
its box.
And
I
I'm
still
never
put
looking at it again.
I put everything in the goddamn box.
No,
I have all the OG boxes. I'm so like,
if you look to your right,
Yeah.
I left the stack of boxes because I might just keep them in there, but I might just get one box consolidated in. But we digress, anyways.
well, I think you should get a nice case,
Yeah,
like a nice little Pelican case. Well, I'll help you get that later.
That's
from
what I
Mark,
was thinking about,
and
too.
And store all the stuff nicely in there,
Yeah.
and then keep the boxes, of course, when you move and stuff. But or throw them out. I mean, there's certain boxes I'll keep. There's certain boxes I'm like, all right, it's enough.
I gotcha.
And mostly I keep all of them. I'm not helping your case here. But yeah, no. So so I would take it out out of the box for a few minutes. I'll record, something stupid just to get familiar. And then I was too nervous because I don't know what to do. So then I put it back in the box. And then I got a camera bag and I got more comfortable. And that's when I told Damien, I was like, I said, why don't we shoot something? Why don't we just film? I want to do a camera test. We could turn it into like a little film.
Right.
Let's just try it. And we did. And there's a part. So his mom's third floor has 3 bedrooms.
Yeah.
And one of the bedrooms we filmed the scene in. Now, for those who are interested, to get an idea of what that room looks like, it's go to Damien's YouTube page. It's D-Man. Hey, you want to plug your?
Yeah, I think it's D-Man Stoit if it's on that. I have
Yeah.
2 YouTube pages.
I think it's
which is stupid. of
no,
me.
it's D-Man Stoit.
Okay. Oh, it is on
It's
D-Man
where
Stoit.
Ring a Ding Ding and all that stuff
Okay.
is. Yeah.
So yeah, it should be YouTube, and the username is D-Man Stoit.
Stoit. And Stoit-
DMANSTOIT.
Yeah. And so in that video, you can skip right to the end if you want. It's when Damien gets up, goes into the room, and lays down on the floor. And in that room, filming that scene in
Yep.
particular, we're talking about mini DV tapes. So in order to get that all onto the computer, you literally had to plug it into your computer, start it from the beginning, and then hit play. And the computer literally had to fucking record every set. So the tape literally had to extract everything that you filmed. Not like a hard drive where it's just kind of just dump,
Right.
sort of quick. This was like you had to play. If you shot an hour or 2 hours worth of footage, well, you best believe that's going to take 2 hours to fucking get all that
Yeah.
footage.
Yep.
And in that, as I was cutting it, weeks later, whatever it was, there was a small scene. Not a scene, but it was a small bit where I turned the camera. And it was right as I was about to shut the camera off. I kept it rolling because I forgot. And his mom has a closet on the opposite side of where Damien's laying on the floor. And there is where I saw, because the closet door was open, that's where I saw some dude. It was like an older dude in the closet.
No, wait. You saw like an actual dude?
It was so because it's so fast. You
Yeah.
you freeze it, you pause it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's the outline of a face,
Okay.
and it literally could have just been a cluster of pixels from just the resolution, because that's 480p, so the resolution's kind of low. But I mean, but it was hard to debate. It was hard to argue for those who may see it the first time,
right?
Because if you look at it before you debate with someone, you go, "Oh, that's a person."
Right, and weren't there outtakes like from the footage that were like you picked up some shadows too in that?
100%. It was in that same room too.
Yeah, because I remember the shadows. I didn't know there was actual physical you saw physically. That's fucking.
There was it was a face. Yeah, and then shadows was another thing too. It's sort of like on the opposite wall you would see something, and it was just all these random things that like I didn't take into consideration till like kind of after the thing was done, where I was like, I kind of saw some things in your room.
Yeah.
So
I remember you telling me, and I was like, dude, I have stories for days. Which, by the way, in that house, I mean, every other person has experienced something paranormal in my mom's place. Which my brother and my mom still live there. Mm-hmm. They're pretty much the only
but not
only remainers in
terms
terms of family. Though. Yeah, no longer on that floor.
Yeah.
But first one I will mention, just a quick little snippet, is my 2 cousins at the time. They were on that same floor, and they were upstairs. They were hanging out watching TV in the middle of the living room, and they said they both saw a creepy clown or something walk up to them. And the reason they both knew, this is like the realization by both of them. It wasn't like one of them saw it and he just ran downstairs and the other was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" One of them saw it, the other one saw it. They both looked at each other. They freaked the fuck out. They ran downstairs and they told everybody. So it was one of those things like, why would they just make that up? You know?
Right.
So that's one story. The other story is during Hurricane Sandy, everybody in the house was all downstairs because, we were dealing with power outages and all this bullshit. So in those situations, you kind of unnaturally huddle with your family.
You were in the basement or the first floor?
Basement.
And just for those, there's basement, first floor, which your mom is now, and your brother, and then there's the second floor, which is what we're referring to.
Right. So one of the things that was weird is my mom she was dealing with the level of craziness with the virus. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
with the hurricane.
Right.
So she kind of got drunk and she started acting a little crazy. She ended up passing out, taking a nap. So that was her thing. But she kept mentioning this aunt that had passed away. I guess an aunt that she was close with.
Mm-hmm.
So within the same time that she mentioned it, she ended up falling asleep or whatever. And mind you, every single person in the house is downstairs in the basement.
Right.
Nobody's upstairs. That's 2 flats of the house empty. Anybody else outside of the house. We start hearing footsteps in the hallway, walking from the front of the house to the back. And it's one of those things like, there's no fucking way that that's just like creaks. There's no fucking way that that's anything but somebody pacing in the hallway. So it was one of those things where, like, once again, I didn't see anything. I went upstairs with my cousin later on to investigate the whole situation. I didn't see anything upstairs, but every single fucking person in the house heard somebody pacing back and forth upstairs. So
that story gets
creepy as fuck.
Yeah, it's creepy as fuck.
Creepy as fuck. But back to this house now. As we were talking, it did remind me of one thing.
Sure.
It's kind of another sort of debatable one. So
sure.
I have this poster. It's done by this artist. I believe his name's James Eads. He does like some holographic type designs. So I found he did like a Queens of the Stone Age is one of my favorite bands. He did a poster for like Michigan or Montana or whatever.
Okay.
So I found it on eBay. I ended up framing it. I stuck it on my wall with those like sticky tapes because most of the walls in my building are concrete. So it's hard to like drill in a hole or find a stud or whatever. I probably had this poster on my wall for maybe, I want to say maybe a year and a half. Never slid, never fell down or anything like that. So back in October, my grandpa passed away, and we had like the prayer card, and at the funeral and the viewing, there were these mint candies. My grandpa was a big fan of like little pieces of candy and stuff like that. Even though he was diabetic, he'd always appreciate like a little piece of candy. So just out of like memory for him, I grabbed one of the candies and I stuck it with the prayer card. For whatever reason, I kind of dipped the prayer card into this poster that's hanging on my wall, and I kind of tucked a little piece of candy just for all that to be in one spot. Mind you, the prayer card probably weighs, I don't know, nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
The same as the little peppermint candy. I tucked that in. So I go to work. I come back from work, and I get it. I go into my room, and the poster's down on the ground. The poster had fallen off the wall. It looked literally like somebody ripped it off the wall because the sticky tape is half still on the wall. Some of it's still intact on the poster frame. The candy has fallen and disappeared in my room, and the prayer card's still tucked in on the poster.
Wow.
So something knocked it off the wall. Mind you, like I said, it's been on the wall for like a year and change. Nothing has knocked it off. Now, logically, you may think, maybe the additional weight of the prayer card and the candy knocked it down, just
Or if
offset weight.
Your roommate decided to put something on the wall.
Yeah, or maybe he banged something on the wall on the opposite side. I mean, I asked him. He said nothing was going on the wall. He didn't hit the wall or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the only thing I've ever experienced. But it's weird because it's one of those things like there's the idea like with my cousin seeing a creepy clown thing. It's almost scary. At the time, we were still grieving for the loss of my grandpa. So even the notion of whether it was real or not real.
Sure.
If it was real, I was just like, I don't give a shit. If it is, I'm happy to have my fucking grandpa in my room.
100%.
So just don't creep me out and don't freak me out, Grandpa. Well, but by all means, you're welcome in my home, you know?
And it's funny. It's funny you bring that up because I feel like I want to share with you one story of my own too that always gets me. But the take home is that I believe in ghosts, but I also believe that it's good to know that they're there.
Yeah.
You know, and I know the whole thing of like, well, if they're here, then I moved on. All right, well, if that's the case, then that sucks. But but to know that they're still around, you know, it's a comforting feeling for those who are grieving.
Right, absolutely.
Now, when my this is way back when in the early 2000s, my cousin he lost his wife. She died. She was battling cancer. They had just bought a house in the area.
Okay.
They were living upstairs. When she passed, my cousin couldn't. It was too much to deal with, so he decided to rent upstairs, live downstairs.
Yeah.
Now, when you walked into the side of the house, the first thing you would enter is the kitchen, and then it was the living room and so on and so forth. But the living room was separated by a wall. So, fast forward, let's say a year later, what have you, he started dating who now became his wife, and she came over with her sister. Mm-hmm. They were watching TV. The sister goes, "Hey, do you guys want anything to drink?" My cousin goes, "No, I'm good." Apparently, my cousin, she goes, "No, I'm good as well." So the cousin gets up. I mean, the sister gets up, goes into the kitchen, screams, comes back. They get up. What's happening? What's wrong? What's wrong? Mm-hmm. What's wrong? My cousin starts moving to the kitchen. And she's pushing him back, and he's freaking out. He's like, "Well, what the fuck? What do you? It's my house. What's going on?"
Yeah.
So she's like, "No, please. It's okay, but let me talk to my cousin. We'll call her Susan." So she pulls Susan aside.
Yeah.
Susan's face turns white. My cousin's freaking out. He's getting really pissed. He's like, "What's going on?" So my cousin now, Susan, goes into the kitchen. She starts crying. Comes running back. So at this point, my cousin's really infuriated because they think they're fucking with him.
Yeah, and of all things to be fucking with you about, that's something to infuriate you in the same process.
Well, yeah. Well, they didn't tell him at first what it was.
Okay.
So, but he, you know, when you feel like you're left out of what's going on, you're like, what the fuck? So they sit him down, and my cousin. This is how the story was explained to me, and it gets me every time. When the sister went to get up and go get a drink, in the middle of the kitchen, she saw my cousin, who passed, in her wedding dress, facing the opposite direction.
Like, you see the back of her head, or
she was in full dress.
No, I mean, but like you see her
the back of her head.
Okay, gotcha.
In full wedding dress. So she ran out, and then my other cousin came. My Susan.
Oh, this is giving me chills.
I got chills now. Ran into the kitchen, and they saw her too.
And she saw the same thing.
So then my cousin, he was so infuriated because he thought this was a really bad taste of a joke. He went into the kitchen and he didn't see anything. But then to go fast forward months later, my cousin was hanging out with a friend of his. Mm-hmm. Same situation. Went to go use the bathroom, came back like a ghost, and my cousin's like, you know, because it was so soon from the other story. Yeah, he's like, this shit's got to stop. What's going on? And he thinks he was going to hear the same thing, only to find out that he goes, I just saw a guy in like he described as a monk robe. It was a brown robe. Yeah. And he was peered over the sink. And he goes, and I stared, and that person wasn't doing anything. And he goes, like, I kind of froze, and I ran back. He goes, no one's there. And my cousin had to disclose to him, as the real estate had disclosed to my cousin, that there was a man who did live downstairs, who did practice that religion. And he died. He ended up killing himself.
Holy shit. Which is crazy, because it's one of those things, like, if you see somebody, maybe your eyes were playing tricks, or you just in a weird head fog, but the fact, like, from detail to detail.
Yeah, 100%. So there was shit going on in the house itself, but the dude was literally he goes, I froze, but I was staring at this person, by the just there. He goes, I'm not doing anything, never turned around. And I've been there many times. I mean, they moved since, but I've been there many times. I've never experienced anything, but if there's one thing to take away from it, it's, aside from the guy with the monk, which is unfortunate, it's that at least you know that there's some sort of presence still there.
Right, of course.
So you can feel as if they're still here, even though they're physically not. But the fact that we got on a ghost trip, I don't know, but it tells it's good for storytelling.
Right, which makes me it brings up a question that I have for you, kind of to sort of coattail off of what you were saying before, ghosts having unfinished business. Now, do you think it's more so ghosts having unfinished business, or there's a presence in a home like that attracts spirits that have existed before and have come to pass?
Oh, interesting. If you take the movies aspect of it, it's like unfinished business because they died out of a violent, from a violent way, and then now they're seeking vengeance, or they weren't buried in like the right spot.
Right. Pet cemetery style. You never bury them in the pet cemetery on the Indian burial ground. That's the rules.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess my take on it is, I don't know if ghosts really have unfinished business. I think part of their business is to make sure that we don't lose sight and mind of the fact that they were here.
Right.
So it's just sort of like a reminder, like, hey, everything's okay.
Yeah.
I feel like they moved on, but I'm using the movie Ghost as an example, as a way of that, not so much that they can't move on, but that they could come back every now and then.
Gotcha.
Like, I feel like they have a certain day in the calendar, a ghost calendar. They're like, okay, you can go and visit so-and-so and knock shit off their wall if you want.
They know when we're going through shit, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
maybe.
Like, oh, Damien's about to have a breakdown. I guess I should show up and throw some shit on his floor.
Yeah, let me rip the fucking painting off the wall.
That'll show I still care.
But yeah, that's my personal belief, is that I think it's a choice made by a ghost. I sound so ridiculous. That they can come and go as they please, and when in time of need.
Right.
In a sense.
No, I think there's some truth to that. There has to be, because I mean, of all of the things we've experienced, it only makes sense, And I don't think there's just like with everything in the world, it's not just that black and white. There's a sort of spectrum to it, and there's some experiences that people really, seek out that stuff and they don't see anything, and there's other people that don't go looking for shit and they have shit that cross their path. So
100%, yeah.
It's not a matter of hey ghost, can you say hello? I think that right there is bullshit. But when you see something in a moment in your life that you wouldn't expect to see stuff, that's the shit that happens,
Yeah, 100%.
So, but ghosts are fucking creepy. That's all I'll say. In general sense, the notion of it is creepy.
It's creepy, but I always say, those who do have a good ghost story, you're in. You could be the worst storyteller in the world.
Oh, absolutely.
But yet it's so.
I feel like
engaging.
that's me. I feel like I kind of meander with the story,
dude. That story with the Sandy, that one gets me. This is like the third time I've heard that story, and every time you tell it, I always wait for the punch, because it's not that I don't remember. It's just it's refreshing to keep hearing it, because it's new.
Well, it's funny because I wanted to go without saying that it probably inspired Hallowed Be Thy Name to an extent.
So
I think, unless I'm wrong, maybe that came out after. Or
no,
before. Did that come out before or after? I don't remember now.
No.
That's post Sandy.
That was post. Holy shit! No, you're right. That was, yeah. So Hallowed Be Thy Name is a film that we did back when 2015 or so, but it was based off a photography project I had in college.
Yeah.
Which was done pre Sandy. The movie was done. I believe it was post Sandy.
Gotcha. Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. No, I think that was done pre Sandy as well.
Let me see. I'll pull it up. Quick YouTube pull up just to see when we posted it. Even though it probably took me a year to post.
No, I think we posted it. We posted it when we edited it.
Did we? Okay.
Yeah, because remember we did the trailer and all that junk for it.
Gotcha. I can't tell. I don't know. But you know,
I think it was pre-sanded because what I edited it on. You know what? I don't know. I don't. It does. I don't know.
so maybe the ghost was inspired by our breakthrough film. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, I gotta tell you that film. I think that's one of my favorites that we've ever done.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
I like that. I think and also it helped a lot that there was a guide to we had a storyboard, unintentional storyboard beforehand.
Yeah, true.
So shooting that was one of the simplest. I think one of the simplest shoots because we had sort of guide as to because Damien and I, like when we film we have an idea. We don't have a backbone.
Yeah, we'll throw like, all right, what's our main idea, and then we just try to hit the ground running.
Yep.
Is that the correct term?
Yeah. We hit as soon as we get on set because we'll film for one day.
Well, yeah, that's the other factor is we know time is of the essence. We know our schedules sometimes don't always align, so it's a matter of, all right, we have a day, we might have another half day or another day,
a few hours
possibly.
Here, there, yeah.
So let's get as much in that we can now. Let's just roll with that and then go from there.
Yep.
So, and we've used that model quite a few times, fortunately and unfortunately.
Yeah, it's worked and it hasn't worked.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm. It's safe to say, for those who I hope listen and make it to this point, I would say that to see pretty much almost the whole collection of things that Damien and I have done.
Yeah.
I would go to Damien's website because you have posted pretty much everything we've worked on.
Yeah, I think I've posted just about everything.
Yeah, and just to get an idea of the kind of stupid shit that we do, because a lot of it is stupid but fun, and some things we actually did try.
And I mean, a lot of the whole process of what we've done since, I don't know, it's been more than 10 years now, a decade and change, right?
Yeah, Traffic Dead Ahead was 2009.
Damn,
or
so,
2009,
and that wasn't
10.
even our first film. So
no.
We're dating back probably 2008, 2007, perhaps.
At least, yeah, we're talking over 10 years.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of the things that we've done in the process is sort of figure what our genre is in a sense. And I mean, we still try to branch out, but we kind of always zero in on comedy horror as it goes.
Well, as being friends for so long, I think chemistry on comedy.
Yeah,
we're like sort of on the same wavelength.
Yeah, agreed.
So it's easier. We have a natural flow when we try to do something funny because we're both like, because every idea one of us throw at each other, we're always like, yeah, all right, cool, let's do it. There's never like, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah, we usually go, oh shit, yeah, you know what, and then we could take that and go there with it. Yeah. So there's always a collaborative build from that, which is pretty cool.